Hello everybody and welcome to the first lesson, Module 1 of Taiwanese. Okay, in Mandarin we call Taiwanese 台语, or we can also call it 闽南语. And 闽南语in English is Southern Min. Okay, so Southern Min is actually a collection of several different dialects over a large region in eastern China. So in southeastern China in the Fujian province. Okay, so in the first lesson, we're going to learn how to ask, how to tell people what your name is, and how to ask other people their name, how to say Mrs. and Mr. and Miss, and we also got to be careful with tone changes. Okay, so I'll try to point out some of the tone changes. You can look at a chart and you can kind of internalize it that way, or you can just practice with the sound changes using your ear. Either way, I think for me, I like both ways. I like to know what's going on. You know, take a look at the chart. It's like a grammar, sort of, and I also want to hear what it sounds like so I can imitate that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Who are you? Now in English, the sentence "Who are you?" the word order gets all mixed up because you have to move the interrogative word to the beginning of the sentence. You start the sentence with a who. In most languages, that doesn't happen. You're going to say, you are who. Okay, so this is what we're saying in the Taiwanese. Maintain the original order. So, you are who. 你系啥郎? 你系啥郎? Okay, so 啥郎 just means who, person. Lang is a person. 你系啥郎? I'm Liu Wen聪. So Liu Wen聪is actually Mandarin for a person's name. Okay, so in Taiwanese, the word for Liu is Lao. Okay, now that's not going to change the tone. So if you say, I am Lao, then you're going to say, 我是Lao, and then the person's name, Wen聪, is going to be 文聪. 我是老文聪. Okay, the other person is a woman. I'm Hu Meiling. And then this one is, okay, the last name Hu is O. So, 我是O. And then her given name, Meiling, is Beating. Or beating, yeah. 我是O beating. What's your surname? 你贵姓? My surname is Wang. Okay, so Wang in Taiwanese is Ong. So you're going to say 我姓Ong. My surname is Hu, or Hu. In Mandarin, it's Hu, so it's going to be 我姓O. Who is he, or who is she? He and she is the same word as in Mandarin and Taiwanese. So, 你是啥? Remember, when we go back to the beginning, who are you? 你是啥郎? 虾 goes into a high tone. In this case, we're saying 你是啥? There's no word after it, so we're going to maintain its original tone. 虾郎. So the high tone is a changed tone sign here, okay? He's Mr. Ma. 你是嘛姓? Okay, so in this one, we're going to say Ma Mr. Ma 姓. 你是嘛姓? She's Mrs. Ma. 你是嘛太太? She's Miss Hu. So Miss Hu in Mandarin is Hu 小姐. Okay, so we're going to say it in the same way. 你是哦小姐. Mr. Wang, who is he? So you're calling out to Mr. Wang. Hey, Mr. Wang, who's that guy? Okay, so you're going to call him Ong Sen Xin. 你是啥郎? Or you can say 你是啥? He's Ma Minghui. Ma Minghui is his full name. So we can say Minghui in Taiwanese is Minghui. Okay, so 你是嘛Minghui. Okay, you don't need to memorize all the names, but you just need a name to practice with. Okay, so you don't need to necessarily remember how to say every name in Taiwanese. That's going to come with time and practice. Okay, and the next one we're going to say, Sir, Mr., who is he? Now this one's a little bit different. You're not going to say the Mr. after a person's name. Like I just said, Ong Sen Xin. seng xin becomes a low dropping tone. In this one, we're going to say seng xin, seng xin. So I'm calling out to this man. We're going to say seng xin, just like 先生, seng xin, 你系啥? Seng xin, 你系啥? Okay, notice there's a nasal sound at the end of saying xin, and xian, there's a nasal sound in there, so watch out for that. She's Mrs. Ma Minghui, or she's the wife of Ma Minghui. 伊是Ma Minghui的太太. 伊是Ma Minghui的太太. Okay, let's see. I think we can go over those. Well, tell you what. Since we have a limited amount of time on each of these videos, why don't you go back to the beginning and watch that again, practice those sentences. Right now I'm going to go on to the conversations, okay? Conversation is going to repeat the sentences we just did. We're just going to put them together in question and answer format. Okay, so the first one is, let's see. Who are you? 你是啥人? 你是啥人? I'm 刘文聪. 我是老文聪. 我是老文聪. Who are you? 你是啥人? 你是啥人? I'm 胡美玲. 我是欧美玲. 我是欧美玲.美玲. 美玲. Okay, so the word for Mei, as in 美丽 in Mandarin, is Mi. We're going to say Mi Ling. Remember all of your dropping tones like this. If they're a third tone in Mandarin, they're going to be dropping in Taiwanese. But when they come in front of another word, we're going to bring that tone up. We're going to pull it up. Okay, so Mei, Mi, Bi Ling. Okay? Yeah, if I teach you like that, you might be able to catch on to all the tone changes with a little bit of practice. Okay, let's go to the next one. What's your surname? Li Weising. Li Weising. My surname is Wang. What's your surname? Li Weising. My surname is Hu. Who is he or who is she? He's Mr. Ma. Who is he or she? She's Ma's wife. Who is he or she? She's Mrs. Hu. Mr. Wang, who is he? Or you can say He's Ma Minghui. Sir, who is she? She's Mrs. Ma Minghui. Okay, so here's another tone change we can talk about right now. I don't want to overload you in the first lesson. That might be a little bit too difficult, especially with the pronunciation. If you haven't studied the pronunciation, a lot of this is going to sound really foreign to you right now. But go back and watch the video many times so you get a feel for that pronunciation. But let me give you another tone change. The fourth tone in Mandarin, which is a falling tone. For example, this word tai. Okay, so tai is a falling tone in Mandarin. There are two ways to say the falling tone in Taiwanese. Okay, one is a flat mid-tone. For example, I can say tai as a dai, dai. And there's also a very low falling tone, like dai, dai. Okay, so there's tai or dai and dai, dai. Now, what happens is that if we just look like this word tai is actually the low falling tone. So it's actually tai. But when we have two of them linked together, we can't say tai, tai. We have to bring the falling tone up higher. So it's going to be a high falling tone and then a low falling tone. So it's going to be tai, 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 tai. Okay? I think there's another example in here, if I can find one. Sing. Okay, yeah. For example, 你姓什么? In Mandarin we say, what's your last name? In Taiwanese, or in Mandarin we say 你贵姓. In Mandarin that's going to be 贵姓. I'm sorry, Taiwanese is gui sang. But we're going to change that to gui sang. Li is you, so bring that up to a high tone. Li gui sang. So the original tone is li gui sang. You're going to change it to li gui sang. You see? Okay, the other one here is that we have sang before the person's name. Wa sang ong. Wa sang ong. So wa becomes wa sang ong. So originally sang is that low falling tone, but it's going to keep going up higher whenever it appears before another word. Okay. So there's 2 tone changes I teach you there. The second tone changing to first tone, and the third tone changing to second tone. I'll teach you more of those in another lesson. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.